So do you ever find that you're in a game of Warzone, you're doing incredibly well, you've got 10, 11, 12, 13 kills, the perfect thing to top it off would be the win. A 13 kill game and a win on Warzone sounds like the absolute ultimate dream. But trying to get a lot of kills and the win is nearly impossible. Skill-based matchmaking inside of Warzone is cranked to the fullest, and it is almost impossible to get a great kill game along with the win. But what I feel is actually possible to get the win and a large amount of kills. Well, that's what I'm going to be telling you in today's video, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be telling you how to get bot lobbies in Warzone so you avoid all of the skill-based matchmaking, and telling you guys how you can top it off with a nice win so you can get those high kill gameplays and you can get the win straight after. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. But if you guys are new and want to stay up to date with all of the newest Call of Duty news and information, make sure you're subscribing to the channel. And if any of these tips in this video do help you get either a large amount of kills or your first Warzone win, make sure you give it a thumbs up, because I'm going to be revealing everything in this video. I'm going to be telling you how all of the top streamers supposedly get very easy lobbies and high kill gameplays all of the time. They're not just good players, but they are doing specific things to get easier lobbies, and I'm going to be revealing all of it to you guys today in this video. And all I'm asking for in return is just a like on this video, and if you're feeling extra generous, a subscription to the channel. So before we jump into the how, you guys first have to understand the why. What is skill-based matchmaking? How does it work? And is it actually just skill-based matchmaking? Because it's not just how it used to be. Skill-based matchmaking in past Call of Duties was relatively simple. It was an algorithm that would essentially take your score per minute, your KD, it would take all of your in-game stats that you can see but no one else can see, and it would match you up with players of a similar skill. And that's how simple it was in the past. But ever since the integration of Warzone and Modern Warfare, the skill-based matchmaking became a whole lot more complicated. And here is Vikkstar's brother to explain exactly what skill-based matchmaking is in Warzone right now.
Is pretty much the same. So 2 TikToks ago I mentioned EOMM, and essentially the idea behind that is not about making games fair for everyone or everyone getting a 1 KD, but to get players playing for as long as possible. Let me explain. So there's a ton of research out there on winning and losing patterns that keep people playing. The idea is, for example, let's say you have 2 hours to play. If you're winning too much, then maybe you'll get bored and leave only playing for an hour. If you're losing too much, then you'll rage quit, maybe you've only played for an hour. But if they can get those winning-losing patterns down, then you'll end up playing for 4 hours, thinking that the next game will be the one where you pop off. And their data shows that people who play a lot tend to spend money, and the players who spend money on a game are more likely to keep playing. Making does, that's the motive. It's not SBMM, but it's a different version of EOMM, I guess is the best way of putting it. With the data Activision has on players, they're able to determine your chances of winning and losing in a lobby before the game even begins. For example, with that player satisfaction metric I mentioned in a couple TikToks ago, they know when you're about to rage quit, and then they put you in a lobby that gives you the highest probability of winning. What they've done is that they've turned matchmaking into a loot box. Every time you hit play now, you're essentially gambling.
So as you've just seen in that clip, Vikkstar's brother essentially has come out and said that Activision have changed skill-based matchmaking into optimized-based matchmaking, so it engages you to keep on playing and to keep on spending. But it's actually a lot easier to avoid optimized-based matchmaking than it is with skill-based matchmaking. With that being said, the first way to get easier lobbies inside of Warzone is to spend money. It's probably not the first thing that you guys wanted to hear when you were searching up how to get bot lobbies, but it's actually true. There was research done inside of Warzone where 2 players, one brought items from the store and one didn't, and it actually shows that the one who brought items from the in-game store actually managed to get easier lobbies. And when you think about it, it actually does work. If you're not viewing skill-based matchmaking as skill-based matchmaking anymore, more as optimized-based matchmaking, if you are going to spend your money on this game, it will optimize you to spend more money. So that means if they have to give you slightly easier lobbies than you did before, so you spend more money, that's what they're going to do. The next tip on how to get easy bot lobbies inside of Warzone is to reverse boost if you can. If you're on PlayStation, you can play Warzone online absolutely for free. All you need is a PlayStation and a TV, and that's it. You don't need to pay for PlayStation Plus because they have a deal. And if you can make as many new accounts as you want, which means essentially making as many emails as you want, you can just absolutely destroy your stats and then jump into a game and you will get stupidly easier lobbies. The next way on how to get Warzone bot lobbies is to just play during non-sweaty hours. Now, if you're using the tips that I've just given you and playing during non-sweaty hours, the lobbies you are going to get will be substantially easier. If you guys are wondering when are the non-sweaty hours for Warzone and Call of Duty, essentially it's when the least amount of people are playing. Ideally, if you want to avoid non-sweaty hours, you are going to be avoiding anywhere from 5 PM all the way until 10 PM. What you want to do is try and get on early in the morning when the least amount of players are actually playing the game. This is for two reasons. One, if you're playing just during non-sweaty hours, there's going to be less sweat on. But the other reason is because there won't be as many people playing, which means it will take longer for you to find a game. Remember how I was saying that this skill-based matchmaking system is more like an optimized based matchmaking system? Well, if you're sat there waiting for 15 minutes, waiting for 20 minutes for a game, you're not going to play the game much longer because you're going to get bored. You're going to think, well, right, I'm bored with this game. I'm not finding a lobby. I'm going to go on to another game. And the optimized based matchmaking system is designed specifically to keep you on that game. So if you're waiting for 15 minutes, for 20 minutes for a game, it's going to say, right, you have been waiting too long for a game now. We're going to completely disregard the whole skill-based matchmaking part of our system, and we're just going to throw you into this lobby where you will be able to play a game. The next tip to get easier lobbies in Warzone is to actually play with worse players, because if you're playing solos, it just takes your KD and your stats into account. But have you been playing with someone that is terrible just at the game in general? It will take your stats and their stats into account, so it will give you an easier lobby for the both of you. So if you're a really good player playing with a really bad player, that will drag your team KD down, that will drag your team stats down, meaning the game will throw you into easier lobbies just because of that one person with a bad KD. Another really effective way to get bot lobbies inside of Warzone is to not play as often. Have you ever jumped on Warzone on your first game on and you've done absolutely incredibly and you've thought to yourself, I've done so well this game, this is my first game on, I've not warmed up, this is going to set the tone for the rest of the day. And then you have your second game, it's slightly worse but not too bad, and then as the games progress they just get increasingly worse. This is the optimized based matchmaking system working at its finest. They've done their research on this, and when I mean they, I'm talking about Activision. They have done their research, they have done psychology lessons, they have done brain lessons, and they know that if you have a really good first game on, you think that it's going to set the tone, and then you're going to play longer. So if you don't play as often, those first games that you jump on will increasingly get easier because the game wants you to stay on and play. So the final method that I have for you guys to get easier lobbies for Warzone, do not worry if you clicked on this video to get wins, I'll be going on to the wins in just a second, but the final method that I have for you guys to get the easier lobbies is to use a VPN. And if you don't trust my word for the VPN strategy, here is Exclusive Ace, who is a reputable Call of Duty source, who talks about all the updates, who does all the weapon testing, who does all the skill-based matchmaking testing, actually did a test on the VPN method, and here is what he found.
I decided to do a few more tests with the quads game mode, just to see how that would be different from solos, and this is where the results got quite a bit more interesting. Now for this test, I only tested 3 games without and 3 games with the VPN, so not quite as much of a sample size here, but I just wanted to do a really quick test to see if it was any different in quads. And without the VPN, as you can see here, the average team KD of those 3 games was 1.28, which is quite high. These are diamond lobbies. Every single game I played here is a diamond lobby. And again, just to remind you, it might not look that intimidating. If you're a 2 KD player, a 1.25 KD lobby might not seem all that intimidating. But keep in mind, the average team KD lobby, I don't think I've ever seen one above 1.4. So anything like 1.2 and up is a diamond lobby, and that's a very difficult lobby to be playing in. So the average team KD from these lobbies was 1.28. Whereas when I turned that VPN on, what I noticed here is I was still getting an average team KD above 1, but these lobbies weren't nearly as difficult as when I wasn't using the VPN.
So we've spoken about getting easier lobbies, so you can now get high kill gameplays, but wouldn't it be nice just to top off those high kill gameplays with a nice win? So here are a quick couple of tips in order for you guys to get the win. So the first tip is to just use meta weapons. It's really that simple. Although these methods are really good and do work most of the time, there will be some times when other streamers and other good players are using these methods, and sometimes you may encounter these good players, so you need to make sure that you are well prepared when you come into counter with them. So what do? You use the meta guns, you use the best guns in the game in order to give yourself a better advantage of actually gunning those better teams. The next way is to actually play as a team. Communication and playing as a team is the most fundamental thing to getting wins inside of Warzone. You can be playing as a team, but as a random team and not communicating, no one really knows what's going on. Essentially, you're winging it. But if you had 2 or 3 players playing with you, you can definitely make sure that you know what you're doing, you know where you're pushing, you're moving as a team. Communication and playing as a team using the meta weapons gives you the best chance of getting wins inside of Warzone, and getting a win accompanied by a 16 to 20 kill gameplay using the methods I've just spoken about does sound incredibly nice. But thank you all so much for watching. If any of these tips have helped you secure a win on Warzone or get easier lobbies, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all of the Warzone news and information, or stay up to date with all of the Call of Duty information in general, make sure you're subscribing to the channel. But thank you all so much for watching. This is LUKEY, and I'm signing out. Peace.